Let's take a look at Richard Hart's tweets here from February the 28th, because there was a lot of, speaking of all this BTC stuff, he was talking about it a lot. Why it's slowing down, how the ETF affects it, and why PulseChain is better. He was, doing his normal thing, or he, talks up his own stuff, of course. Let me actually just go to the pertinent tweet here. So, okay, so this is the one I really wanted to hone in on. And I will DM it to you right now also, Ewok, if you do want to pull it up. There you go. So this is the one that really kind of set Twitter ablaze on the 28th. So Richard's saying 241,000 Bitcoin, question mark. BTC is up 30% from its ETF launch price 49 days ago. This is the opposite of what it did when I called the multi-year bear tops on futures launch in 2017 around 20K and the 65K top years ago for the Coinbase IPO. Notice how I didn't call the top this time. I guess I'm smart. Crypto Twitter is basically silent because they sold their coins to the bankers. You can't really blame them because the SEC only passed the ETF 3 votes to 2, and usually crypto is dumped for such large events. Also, there's the fear of sales. Say, for instance, Mt. Gox. That's been pretending to be a sell event for like 10 years now, which is totally true. Literally 10 years. Now that Wall Street is on board, if it continues like it has been, they could likely absorb all the sales anyway. Which leaves you here. You've been in a bull market for a year and a half in BTC. BTC is up 4x in 464 days. And then he goes on to say Inc. is up 7.5x in 52 days. PulseX up 5.7x, 167. PulseChain is up 4x in 185. Hex, the laggard, is up only 2x in 52 days. In summary, Bitcoin's price going up is good for all of crypto, and the coins I founded are beating Bitcoin. If you're looking for better technology, better security, better throughput, better fees, better for the environment, better potential, you found it. Yes. So, and then he goes on to say, P.S. Since this is uncharted territory, it's not even certain that the dumps will look like, or what the dumps will look like in this new paradigm. Will Bitcoin still do a 40% dump, which is what we've been talking about, like it going back into like the high 30Ks after this all-time high? Or will it take years just to do a 3.5x the old all-time high like it did 20K to 69K? Maybe longer with less gains because it's heavier. Who really cares when we've got better tech and potential anyway in PulseChain? So there's been a lot of thoughts about that. And people are like, did he just call for 240K Bitcoin? And people looking at this tweet from every direction. So what I guess, if anything, obviously there's the whole flexing of PulseChain's better than everything else, which you're going to expect from Richard. That's normal. But in terms of some of the other stuff, do you interpret this as him actually calling 240K BTC? He says it at the beginning with a question mark. Is that what he's calling, or how do you interpret this tweet?
I wasn't sure. The first time I read it, that's what I thought. But, it says question mark. And then he goes on to say, that is what I think that would be 3.5 times the all-time high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what he's saying, will it take just 3.5 years? Maybe longer because the gains are heavier. I think that's his number. Just saying, 3.5x the all-time high, like 20K to 69K. How long will it take? I don't think he was calling that as a top number. I really don't.
Right.
I think he was just comparing the 3.5x of the previous all-time high. But I think it was more of a setup to say all this stuff is doing better anyway. Right. Here's where you need to be. And I think that's what this was all setting up for. Just to say that, yeah, hey, over here, guys, our stuff is better than yours. So
I do agree with you. I think it was like, here's everything that's going on with BTC and all the uncertainty around it and what, he talks about the new paradigm and everything, all to basically promote PulseChain. I don't think that was like a call of 240K BTC, but my God, I mean, if that happened, I mean, everybody's basically doing great. So,
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So I found it to be an interesting tweet, and then he goes on, of course, to say how the tokens are doing. I then DM'd you, Ewok, his other one later that day. Is that did you already pull it up?
No.
What do you got? If you were going to say something else first, go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Let me.
That's all right. Take your time. I just sent you. He sent this a little bit later. That also I think added some substance. This was last week on the 28th. He said Bitcoin bears are wrecked beyond all belief, which yeah, totally true. It doesn't mean there's not dips in the game. I bet there still is. Bear hopes, market dumps from Mount Gox, various seizures from governments of the Silk Road hacker and Bitfinex, blah blah blah. Resistance of previous top. Here you go. We're seeing this today. He says resistance from previous top at 69K. Funding rates for future being high means many people are margin long. The issue for bears is the ETFs have done such serious volume and appear to be on-ramping fresh new Wall Street money high off their all-time highs in the S&P 500. So this part I'm finding interesting. He says, basically, in my opinion, unless the ETFs stop buying, it's very bullish. Then you've got the news that will hit the airwaves when BTC hits new all-time highs. It already hit new all-time highs in many countries with currencies not the dollar. Like I know the Australian dollar is pathetic, and it's over 100,000 there, I think. Anyway, he says, I have no crystal ball. The last bear hope is probably an S&P 500 dump from interest rate cuts, but even in that case, there's a month of lag usually, or maybe some Wall Street dude will just wreck the longs for a bit by fat fingering a sell. Welcome to volatility, only to the upside recently. Yeah, I mean, so no real way to take it other than bullish. I mean, he's talking about the influx of money from the ETFs being very bullish. So what do you make of that? I find this interesting. And, I think it was on his Christmas Day video that he uploaded that he also talked about the ETFs being potentially really bullish. So I find it fascinating. What do you think?
Yeah, that's how I took it too. I mean, just the on-ramping of the new money. And I think you're going to see that when Ethereum ETF gets approved too. So it's gonna it's gonna, because it pulls the green candles up, it's gonna get more people excited too that aren't Wall Street money, that are just seeing green candles and seeing everything go crazy. It's on MSNBC. That's all they're talking about. With the you get more and more people that are I don't want to say fudding it less, but it is the topic of conversation. It becomes, the forefront of a lot of conversations. So, yeah, I think it's very bullish. I think it's good for everybody, and yeah. But he says, "Welcome to volatility." When things go up quickly, don't forget they do come back down. So, prepare to be in the middle of all that stuff. The price, it's one of his famous quotes, is the price you pay for extreme gains is the volatility. So you're going to see some of that as well. And I think there's going to be some manipulation with some of these bigger entities now playing in the game, because they know how to manipulate stuff and get people to sell, and then they buy in a little bit lower, do it all over again. It's going to be very volatile, but I think the bottom line is prices are all going to go up pretty substantially.
I think so too. He continued that day. I mean, there were just so many gems. A little bit later, he sends a chart of. Let me just make sure what he did. Okay, so he posted the chart of Bitcoin and just part of his previous tweet. But he said, also, while Coinbase and other exchanges went down, PulseX.com is doing just great, which obviously was true. And Coinbase has continued to have trouble with all this influx of normies coming in and everything. And then he said, and yeah, wrapped BTC trades there on PulseX. Why do you think he's now okay? Because there's been like a saga with this. I think he's mentioned wrapped BTC on PulseChain, on PulseX to trade before. And then I correct me if I'm wrong. I think you remember this one, Ewok. But then at another time, he said something not so favorable about it, and it had this like gigantic red candle, and now he's talking about it being there again. I don't know what these shenanigans are, but yeah, what do you make of him just letting people know that wrapped BTC trades on PulseX right now?
I think it's just to get the word out. I really do. He's just doing anything to get the fingers to say, look over here. Hey, we're over here. And I'm pretty sure that wrapped Bitcoin on PulseChain is still pegged, right? I know there's another version of it that was like the fake version that was way
Yeah,
lower.
there is. Yeah, there's a like PulseChain wrapped BTC, and then
Right.
there's like
The real
BTC
one.
on. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so I think it's another way because when Bitcoin network gets full, there's going to be a lot of fees over there too. I think it's just a ploy to get people looking, no matter who he tags, whatever coin it is. He's always going to say, "Hey, by the way, this stuff over here is better, and it's a lot cheaper, and you can trade your Bitcoin over here too." So yeah, I think it's just a look over here. He's very calculated with the things that he does, and uh, only to be a the shadow on his shoulder to know what he's thinking and why he does what he does. I wish I knew, but yeah, I think that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I just find it interesting that he throws other things out there. And then we saw, off of that point, this wasn't really a topic, but we saw some wallet that apparently has 20 million in Link token, chain link, bridging six
Yeah,
figures into PulseChain yesterday. Which I found interesting. I guess we can just talk about that real quick because
sure.
it's a similar topic. But yeah, I mean, if that is, and who knows what it is, who it is, or what their interests actually are. But if it is somebody that obviously could be fond of Chainlink, maybe, or maybe they're not, and they just happen to be holding it in that wallet. I don't know. But if it is somebody like that, man, they'd be so awesome if there's potential right there that somebody could be dipping their toes into the Pulse version of an ERC20 token, one of the strongest ones, like Chainlink.
Yeah,
Do you think we're going to see more behavior like that? And I think it could take just one big holder like
yeah,
that of a strong ERC20 bridging in. And I'm not saying trying to, bring the PRC20 to parity necessarily, but providing more liquidity to it, buying it up. What do you make of that? Because I think one huge holder like that could really make a difference.
well, yeah, any large holder like that, they bridge it in, they back it with their other coins that they already have for free. um, could make parity. It wouldn't take a whole lot at this point because I'm sure it's very low. So yeah, one large holder that has that much money could definitely make an impact, and then say, "Hey guys, over here, well, I know what they're paying in gas fees right now on Ethereum, so I think it would be fantastic. You get a couple of those guys in. Um, it may take a couple wallets, or they say, you go do it first, and we'll see, how you
Right.
like it. But it's going to definitely have to be. You got to be the first one at some point if you want them to come over. So I do think there was a lot of Link dumped early on. Whenever the thing first launched, people were selling and bridging out and extracting some value. But to see somebody like that now, I don't know what they did. We know the wallet came in, or did they actually bridge?
Oh yeah, they bridged. I forget the exact number. It was at least like 150,000 or so or
Okay,
more. Yeah. Now it wasn't obviously you're not going to bridge Chainlink token. That would be moronic, and you would lose value. But yeah, I don't know. They bridged stable coins out of it. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if what they're doing is buying up P Link. I think that'd be pretty interesting. And it's been pumping. I mean, like some of the PRC20 tokens have been moving up with this move. So,
sure.
yeah, we'll kind of see how
Well,
that goes.
the rising tide, raises all ships. So, be interesting to see what they do with it and keep an eye on them.